Hi there. Our next topic that we discussed in business perspectives is marketing. So it's week 3. Marketing is very important in all businesses, I've learned, and there are a few key terms that you need to understand. I know our last video we talked about value and how it's different for each person and everybody has their own sense of value. But marketers have a different perspective on value from the business perspective. And it's based on how much does it cost and the convenience of the item. That's how they see that customers are placing values in their products. So timing, location, and availability are basically the value aspects of a product. And it's kind of funny how that affects. Our professor told us that Americans have this different way of placing value on things. It's not how expensive it is, it's how cheap I got it, and that we have a kind of pride for getting something amazing at Walmart. So you're like, I bought it at Walmart for $10. How exciting is that? I saved money. I bought it cheap and it looks good. Like, that's the value. Now, if you could place that in a marketer's perspective, it kind of differentiates from their ideas of marketing, because marketers have a value, meaning the maximum willingness to pay. That's what they consider the best value. So if you have a product, you're like, well, I could break even at $10 a product. However, you want more than that. What is your market willing to pay for your product? What's the maximum willingness to pay? Maybe somebody has great value in your product, so you're able to sell it to that person for $30 instead of $20. So you try to sell it at the maximum willingness to pay to get the most for your money. Sorry about that. So it's it is actually still defined by you, but you try to have a business perspective to it. Sorry about that. So it's really important to know value as a business person as well. There are a bunch of other main objectives for marketing. So you need profitable customer relationships, which means having a product or service that the customer wants or needs. And if you have a product or service, market it to where they think they need the service or the product. So those needs become, or those wants become needs, and needs become wants. It's a good method to show someone how bad they want your product, even if they didn't think that they wanted it at all. You're telling customers what they want, and so that way they need the product. That's how you can best sell a product to a customer. So you're activating the need within your customer by giving them something to want, and that's called demand. Okay? And once you have demand, you have to create supply. So you base your supply off of your demand. But if you already have your supply, you need to create the demand. By creating the need within the customer, you're creating demand. That way you can balance out your supply demand a little bit better. Let's see. You can also create value by differentiating your products. So you may not be the only one in the market. However, you can be the only one who does X, Y, or Z. So like cell phones. Yeah, you're not the only one in the product. Like Google's in there, Samsung, iPhone, and many other competitors who are trying to penetrate the market. However, iPhone, they are they differentiate themselves by being Apple. So they have iTunes, they have accessories like the AirPods, they have the brand. Their brand is what differentiates themselves. Whereas Samsung, amazing phone also. Maybe I'm biased because I have one. Let's not get into that. But they have a phone that works just as well, and you can customize it, and it's not hard to learn once you've got it, but it's not at that brand level that differentiates itself. So it has to differentiate itself in a different way. So they come out with the better cameras and new versions of the phones, just like the iPhone does, but they try to progressively update and make things better. So recently, the iPhone came out with 3 cameras. Well, now we're just waiting for what Samsung retaliates with. Let's see how that goes. Or you can think of differentiating in a different way. So let's go with socks. Everybody has to wear socks. There's so many socks in the market, but how do you buy a brand? There are some people who are super brand loyal. I know my boyfriend, he wears Nikes. And he doesn't really wear anything else, but he wears Nikes. No real reason to it, just because of the brand. So that's differentiating itself. However, I only wear no-show socks, which is kind of funny. Most people don't do that. But I try to buy Van brands, like the shoe brand, or Converse brand, because they fit perfectly underneath the shoe without being seen. And sometimes they have that sticky stuff on the back of the heel. So that's what differentiates it to me. It makes it a better product for me. That's just a small example that I can give you today. So we talked about supply and demand, which is very important to marketing. And to be able to create the market or better market yourself to your current market, you have to have the 4 P's. So you have product, price, place, and promotion. So your product is, what are you selling? What service can you provide? Your price is, what is the willingness to pay of your customer? What can you price it at to break even and make a profit? Making a profit is important. And how do you compare to others in your market or in your with your competitors? Then you have place. Not all products can be sold everywhere. Why would I buy a snowboard in Illinois? I wouldn't. I really wouldn't, unless it's the middle of winter and we have giant hills around here, which we don't. Or you wouldn't buy a surfboard in the middle of the United States. It's the placement. If you were to sell a surfboard in Hawaii, you'd have good placement. So place is important. Promotion. So how are you selling your product to people? Are you doing newspaper ads, TV ads, however you can promote? Maybe it's via word of mouth or online promotions. How are you going to get your product to your customer? How are you going to convey that want or that need, the inner desire to your customer that they need your product? How are you going to sell it to them? So those are very, very important to it. And to be able to do these kinds of things, you need to understand your target market, your competitors, and your customers themselves. And that's all I've got for marketing for the moment. Thanks. Bye.